Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, I do believe. Wednesday, but what? Yes, Wednesday. Okay. I've been so busy at work lately that today was the first time it slowed down since winter break was over. Excuse me. Mm. Um, Today's been a very interesting day. I'm going to talk about today because, Victor, it was the most interesting day of the whole week, and I'll explain why. For first off, it has been sleeting or icing up since last night, since probably about 8 p.m. yesterday. When I woke up this morning, it was a combination of sleet and snow. So getting to work was a little, not, I don't want to say difficult, but I was a little like, okay, the roads are icy. I'm the only one on the road, but I'm still not gonna. I'm still not gonna rush. I got to work in time to punch in, basically. Now, when the roads around here get icy and whatnot, especially first thing in the morning, they won't do anything to the roads until it starts to snow and accumulate on top of the ice. So driving to work this morning was 20 miles per hour uphill, basically. And I made it to work, and I said, I literally told everybody at work, I said, if it was any worse, if it had started to really snow and really accumulated, I probably would have been one of the dozen people that called out. So I was happy I made it to work because I don't really pride myself on the factor of being honor bound or however you want to put it to come to work, even if the weather's bad. I'm like the post office. No matter what the weather's like, I'm gonna be there. Unless it's so bad that I can't even get out of my neighborhood. And I've only done that once, and that was last year on 2 different days because it was so bad outside that it was like, no, no, I'm not risking myself, my health, my safety, or anything like that for a job. I'm sorry. I draw the line at that. There are certain things I will not fight. Mother Nature is one of those. But it was kind of funny because when I got to work, I had to go out to my venue, which is outside of the main building, and I had to fight to get the door open. And I'm like, I hope they don't make me stay out here. Nevertheless, I was one step away from being set up. All I had to do was finish making one of my items and take it out there to get set up when the bosses came to me and said, wherever you got outside, actually what it was, they were talking to me about setting up indoors at one of the different stations inside and just take it over and make it for just, my venue. And I went, oh, because the only thing I have left to do is really, chicken. And they were like, oh, you're really ahead of your game. And I said, when am I not? And they were like, well, this is the one day that we wish you wouldn't have been so diligent. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry. What's up? And they're like, we want you to go back outside, turn everything off, bring in basically all the salads and all the foods that I have to use for my venue. And I was like, okay, where am I setting up though? And they're like, oh, you're going to take over this spot. And I'm like, okay. Well, the cone, and I'm not, if you know anything about Greek food, you know what the cone is. So, well, the cone is almost done cooking. What do you want me to do? And he goes, bring it in right before we open up, so you have that meat cooked. I'm like, okay, no problem. So it looks like for the rest of this week, I will be doing my job indoors instead of going out to my normal location due to the weather. I'm kind of hoping that they'll give me a ring tomorrow and say the roads are really bad after all this, all it was snowing all night long is what it's supposed to do. I'm hoping that they call me up just ever so slightly and tell me to go ahead and stay home because the roads are just too treacherous. Now, whether they call me or not, my brain is like doing this like, do you want to try to make it in? Blah, blah, and they didn't plow in front of my house. They just plowed around the corner next to my house. Because my little street in front of my house stops just right past my neighbors, the gentleman who lives across from me. And they hardly plow that area. I'm hoping they do. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if they don't plow that, I'm not going into work. And I'll check that first thing in the morning. But at the same time, I'm like, I really don't want to call out because I had told them that I needed the 3rd, which is tomorrow, off due to my mom having a back surgery, and I was going to stay home to take care of everybody. But she canceled her back surgery, and so I told them I can come in Thursday. So I'm just kind of like, yep, you stuck your foot in your mouth on that one there, boy. Because I could have had a free day off. But I didn't think the weather was going to get this way. They were talking about last year they did actually have to close down for a couple days out of the week because last year it was below 0 and just really nasty outside. And I remember those days because one of those particular days I actually made it to my other job my job that I had last year. But see, my brain is sitting there going, yes, Jim, you're a good driver. You know how to drive on this stuff. You did it in New York, and New Yorkers are nuts anyhow. And most of the people around here either don't even get out in it unless they have to, or they drive like me, below the speed limit and very cautiously. So my brain is too much. And my brain, on the other hand, my brain is going, no, stay home so nothing happens, and you can be home for Jared, and you can be home for Mom no matter what. So I'm just kind of like, I know if I talk to Jerry about it, she'll be like, it's up to you. No, this is a safety factor. It's up to both of us. Do I risk the slim possibility of having an accident or something along that line, trying to get to and from work or anything like that? Or do I stay home and rough it? It's one of those things where it's like, at times like this, I refer to my wife like, okay, you have to help me make this decision because I can go either way. And I need a third person or second person, whatever we're going to call it, to break the stalemate, But otherwise, the other thing that kind of made me a little upset about them not sending me home today was the factor that because of the weather and the way it was, I only did a total of 16 people, which is like the lowest I've ever done since I started working there. So I'm kind of like, okay, we already had a bunch of people call out, and that's one of the reasons why they wanted me to work in the kitchen, the venue I was at. But because of the factor we didn't have anything but the Greek food that I serve on a regular basis, I didn't have any of my regulars except for one, and most of the other people who came by were like, no, that's right. I'll try something else. I had a few adventuresome people that were like, oh, I've never had this before. Like, I'm usually outside right over there. Oh, okay. So you in here? Yeah, I'm in here because the weather is just nasty and trying to get those doors open. There's too much ice buildup along the bottom of the doors. So it's practically impossible to get the doors open, especially the doors that the students go through without breaking it because it's glass doors, or they get like the door that I have to go through to get into the kitchen area for my little venue, um, is a side door for employees, and trying to get that open and forced open was a real fun thing while I'm getting pelted by sleet. But made it through the day. It was long because it was slow. It was arduous because it was slow. By the time I got home, it's like my feet are hurting, my legs are hurting, my back is hurting. And I have to look forward to this for at least another 2 days, or who knows how long, depending on Mother Nature. So that was kind of my day in a nutshell. I did take the time to watch Jerry's video today and yesterday, and I think part of the problem is a combination of the weather, because I know when the weather is nasty like it has been today, everybody's a little worn out or bogged down or just feeling a little bit. I know, like Jerry said when I got home, her body and her mind are like, no, done, but her spirits are very high. And that was like me. I was like, oh man, we're on the same page today, because my body and my mind are like, done. Stick a fork in me, done. But my spirit, which keeps me, going, is like, yeah, let's party. I'm like, oh, come on. Give it a rest, But it's partially because of the fact that I see the snow on the ground and the kid in me wants to go play, and the rest of me is just like, first we gotta drive home, then we gotta warm up, and then maybe after we get done doing all the adult stuff, we can play something. Do something fun. Oh, but I have a feeling that a lot of adults are like that. They like having fun when they know they can have fun, but they also know that they've got to take care of a lot of stuff, a lot of adulting. Like I said yesterday, and I don't know why I felt the way I felt yesterday, but yesterday I was like, I don't want to adult today. I am not adulting today. But I still had to do my job, so there goes that idea. But the way things are today, from what Jerry told me, she slept most of the day, which I'm kind of like, I hope I sleep tonight, because last night I had a hard time sleeping. And I don't know if that was because of the fact that she's having a hard time sleeping or what. I just know I was waking up, tossing and turning maybe every other hour or so. So when I woke up this morning, I didn't feel like I got any sleep. And right now, my biggest concerns are, and it has nothing to do with the weather, because when I go outside in this kind of weather, I am bundled pretty well. I've got like a parka. I'm wearing thermals. I have on the back of the print on the back of the hat that I wear, it's called the Mad Bomber. And if you've ever seen the typical like Alaskan with the big hat that has all the fur, whatnot inside the hat, and you have the flaps that go over your ears and down your cheeks, and clips right here underneath your chin. I have one of those hats. I'm kind of surprised I didn't break out my old work boots. And I mean boots, not just shoes. I mean like combat boot type shoe. And I can't remember. I probably bought them at Walmart, or I didn't go to the Army Navy store. I must have got it from either Walmart or I think that's the only place here in town we can get shoes nowadays. Oh, there's that one shoe store over there by that one grocery store that's mostly like designer type shoes. Nikes and Reeboks, and give me a shoe that functions and I can use, for whatever purposes I choose. But everything seems to be in fairly good order and condition here at the house. I've done a lot of, work in here. You might not be able to tell by looking at me, or looking behind, I should say. I do have some stuff to deal with here and there. I think the next time I get to work in here, since my desk is pretty much done for the moment, and I do mean for the moment because it might need to get reorganized or redone if I do what I wanted to do, which I probably won't, because then that would take up some wall space for the tapestries. But next time I come in here, I'm just gonna pick a corner like this corner in front of me, which has got a bunch of empty boxes. I kept the empty boxes in case I find a bunch of stuff that I can give away. But just start working in a corner, work around just clockwise around the room type deal. Excuse me. Yawning because I am tired. I am literally, if I don't keep myself going and occupied and thinking and whatnot, I will probably pass out right here in this chair. Which, yeah, I can fall asleep just about anywhere as long as people just leave me alone. I'm finding it more and more interesting lately how things are functioning. Because of the fact I got to finally work indoors with most of the other venues, or around most of the other venues, especially the Hispanic food venue. I got to learn some new stuff. Got to learn a little bit about how they operate inside, and the venue that I kind of took over. I still had some of their stuff. It's more of a well, it's more like a I don't even know how to describe it, because the only thing that's there constantly is the salad fixings. But the hot foods are always changing depending on the day. It's called the kitchen. Yeah, I'm giving away the name. So what? And like I said, their salad bar, their salad fixings is usually the same stuff all the time, because it's basically a salad bar that, you make a salad for somebody and give it to them. But the area that I took over was more for the hot foods, with a small section of the salad bar area for the Greek food, the Greek salads that I make, or that I do in my venue. And they had to redo their digital sign because we weren't serving what they originally thought they were going to be serving. That the item that they originally thought that they were going to serve for lunch is now basically dinner. Hey, I don't make up the rules. I don't make the decisions. I just do what they tell me to do and go, okay. If that's what you want me to do, okay. But the way things have been happening lately, especially weather-wise, I haven't had to use my fan, and yeah, I looked at it the other day when I finally turned it off. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean that off before summer, because I don't think I'll be using it the rest of the year, or unless it gets really, really, really warm in this room. And there's two things I can do. I can either clean off the fan and use it, or turn off the heat vent so it's not blowing as much heat into here. But the last couple of days I've been waking up with postnasal drip, which is causing phlegm buildup, which is causing issues with swallowing and talking, which is great. Now that's why I'm drinking a lot of water. In fact, as soon as I get done with this vlog, I'll probably make myself a cup of tea and start dinner. What am I gonna have for dinner? I gotta cook the pork chops. But yeah, tonight's dinner is gonna be pork chops with either some kind of mashed potato or noodle roni or something like that, Mom and I will eat. Jerry, because she is having issues with her mouth and lips, it's hard for her to eat certain foods because of texture or spice. So I've been making her, like, we have chicken salad, we have hard-boiled eggs that I can either turn into egg salad or something like that. She can't have salads because, like lettuce, hard, the mixed greens, things like that, because the texture is too rough on her mouth. So it's been soft foods and very little to no spices. In fact, that's one of the things I gotta do is ask her what she wants for dinner. So, I'm doing one of the things that I never, ever thought I would do in my life, let alone wanted to do in my life, and that was make 2 separate meals for dinner time. One for Jerry with certain kinds of vegetables that I can steam to the point of being turned into mush. I mean, steam them to the point where they're like really soft. Protein shakes per lunch. Things of that nature. And I'm like, Jerry, I don't mind doing anything for you to make food, but I need you to have a balance. I need you to have your veggies. I need you to have your protein. Basically all the major food groups that you're supposed to have per day. In fact, her doctors want her to eat vegetables or fruit with every meal. So I made her one day. No, that's right. She decided she didn't want scrambled eggs. She wanted oatmeal. What am I doing? I don't know. So I have made her oatmeal with vanilla flavored protein powder and a blueberry strawberry compote to put into the into her oatmeal, and just mix it in there. It makes the oatmeal look purple, but she likes the flavor, so hey, color doesn't matter as long as it's edible. So yeah, I've been doing that for her in the mornings. I had hoped or wished that things would not have gotten this bad, especially when it comes to her mouth, because I can only imagine what she's going through, where too much salt or too much spice or too much of a particular type of ingredient burns or irritates her mouth. That in fact are textures. I mean, okay, yeah, I have difficulty with textures too. Chips, if I eat them the wrong way, they stab my gums, they hurt, cause my gums to hurt or stuff like that. So I can kind of understand what she's going through, but to be going through it to the point where you can't eat solids, that you either have to have a protein shake or soft, mushy food, I guess that would be considered solid because it's not totally liquefied. But we have this, she got it through Pampered Chef, which means she got it half off or something like that. It's it's one of the Ninja food products. Basically what it is it's a blender that has 2 different types of cups. The one cup, it looks like just a regular blender cup, but you can use it to heat, like make homemade soups. Like take all the ingredients for your soup, throw it into the blender, hit the button, let it blend it all up, and then it will slowly cook it. Cool. Interesting. Never had to use that function yet. Then the other one is for making smoothies. It's an adapter that goes onto it, and then you put the cup that comes with it. You put all your ingredients for the smoothie. You take this piece that's got the chopping blades in it, screw it on top, flip it over, and let it blend. and it supposedly has a chilling factor, so it cools off whatever's in the blender. And I'm just like, well, now I know how to use the smoothie part. One day I'm going to have to learn how to use the cooking part where you can make your stew or your soup, enough for 1 or 2 people in the blender while it cooks. So I'm like, one of these days. So we were talking the other day, and I think I was joking because we were talking about a segment in a movie called Signs with Mel Gibson by I think it's Shyamalan? M. Night Shyamalan, or whatever his name is. But we're talking about just throwing all her food into a blender and blending it all up so she can suck it through a straw. But I was like, I don't know if I would want to do that, because depending on what you're putting in there to become a liquefied soup of sorts, I don't know. But I was like, Jerry, whatever you want me to do. I want you to eat. I want you to be filled with nutrition and not lose nourishment. I don't want you to suffer because you can't eat. Now, it's one thing that the Carbomatics, which is her chemo pill, is causing her to lose weight. But this pill is what's causing her mouth and her lips to be all tore up. And I was just like, I don't really like this. I mean, I can understand why we're going through it, but it's causing me issues. But I try to keep some of my issues to myself, not because of the fact that I don't want to stress. It's more because I don't want to stress Jerry out. But it's also kind of one of those things where, like, she's going through enough. She doesn't need me, breaking down and losing it. But we're doing what we can to keep things going smoothly. Doing everything the doctors have told us to do, asking doctors questions when we don't understand, or sometimes I get so caught up in just listening to the doctor that I forget my questions. Or no offense towards Jerry, because this is not offensive towards Jerry, but sometimes Jerry will ask the same question that's on my mind in a more understandable way. But then there's times where she doesn't ask the questions and I want to ask them, but between time and patient doctor talking to each other, I just sit back and go, okay. If I feel I need to ask a serious question, I'll either interrupt or, get a hold of a number of different people that either knows these things, or for the most part, I just stabbed myself with something, I don't know what. But I usually try to get my answers somehow, whether I go to my mom, whose medical transcription days might be behind her, but she still has retained a lot of that information, if not the books, with all the different translations, and okay, you're doing what? All right, what were you looking for? Okay, let's look it up in the books. So, but Dre has her good days, she has her bad days. Today is one of those good days because she's just tired and sleepy because she overdid it. Combination overdid it yesterday and the weekend. I mean, I think a lot of times when she tries to overdo it when I'm not around. She'll try to do a lot of stuff on her own, cleaning wise, in the bedroom, and it takes a lot out of her. I mean, a lot. So I keep on telling her, don't push yourself. Unless you absolutely have to have it done right there and then because I'm not here, just don't push yourself. I don't want to come home and finding you passed out on the bed because you overdid it. You know, I can understand she's home alone. She can't leave the room. Well, she could leave the room, but she's home pretty much alone. She tries to stay in our bedroom as like a self-quarantine. Even though I keep on trying to, why don't you come out and try to do something in the craft room? We put your wheelchair in the craft room so you can take your roll later, come up to the craft room door, open it, reach in with a grabber or go in as far as your roll later will let you, pull the chair forward closer to the door, transfer from roll later to wheelchair to get into the craft room to do whatever. But even though I want her to do what she can, I don't want her to push. That's my biggest thing, is quit pushing yourself. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get off this because I gotta start thinking about how I'm making the pork chops and whatnot. Probably simple shake and bake or something like that. I don't know. Anyhow, if you guys enjoyed this little video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the question comment box. If you are new to my channel and for whatever reason are interested in my daily life or my whole what's going on around me, or some of the subjects I've talked about on various levels, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And once you do that, a little bell will pop up. Click on that. YouTube will let you know when I put in my next video. Until next time, you guys have a good day. Enjoy. Bye.